Welcome back to another episode of the HLTV Recap Show, the playoff edition of the HLTV Recap Show presented by GG.BET. Now, throughout the first two stages, the Challenger stage and the Legend stage, we've been monitoring some of the feedback we've been getting on the YouTube videos. So we thought we'd switch things up. We thought we'd try something new here for the playoffs. So check it out really quick. Nice. That's much better. That's a lot better. We like that. Let's get back into it. Welcome to the PGL Antwerp CSGO Major Playoffs inside the Sports Palais in Antwerp, Belgium. 8 teams remain left to battle for the pride, the history, and the prestige that comes along with winning the major championship. You can see them here up on your screen right now. All teams in pursuit of that one final trophy at the end of the day. Let's check out today's schedule. Shorter days, but more intensity and more pressure packed into them. It's quality over quantity from here on out. First matchup going to be that FaZe versus NIP. Let's check out the way that NIP made their path, got here to the quarterfinals. Nice win over Vitality to start things out. Series loss against Navi and the 2-0 win versus FURIA that qualified them here. They got to skip the Challenger stage. Here are the hot hands for the Ninjas. Poster boy Rez and in-game leader Hampus dishing out some power this event. Rez has been in great form recently. Part of the reason why NIP has remained so competitive throughout so much roster turmoil. But you didn't think we'd forget about Brolin, did you? The newest member of the Ninjas brought in to bolster their firepower, and he's doing just that. Highest rating on the team, also takes the most opening duels, trying to crack things open for his team. And when you face off against the world number 1, you need your stars playing at their top level. Look at the path FaZe took to get here, starting in the Legend stage and warming up quick after a small stumble to Ents in the BO1s. Rops and Rain have been looking good in their run through the Legend stage to get to this point. This team goes deep, but they're chilling at the top, sharing the 1.15 rating. Now, we know the individuals for FaZe are good, but check out the team FaZe we've had the pleasure of watching. Third place in pretty much every most major team statistical categories that you can have, and even a second place on percentage of deaths traded. Either way, we're gonna get right into it. We gotta put all that to the test right now. Nuke was the opening stage of this quarterfinal, picked by FaZe, so NIP would start on the defensive side. They'd use it to their advantage, and they'd get going early. A sketchy anti-eco, but the gun rounds looked solid for NIP. They were mowing people down in that upper bomb site. They were holding off hit after hit for the first 7 rounds or so. They got to a 6-1 lead before FaZe started fighting back. A lot of the FaZe guys actually kind of struggled early on in Nuke, but some impact prawns from range, and this nice 1v2 clutch from Twist. Beautiful deagle shot, and obviously finishing it off through the window. This would help bring them back in the half, and they outlasted that cold streak that I mentioned from some of those players early on. Kerrigan started taking over on the CT side as well. He got 23 kills, Rain got 24 kills, and FaZe won 11 of the last 12 rounds to take the map, 16-10. They hit a streak. We'd go to NIP's pick of Overpass for map 2. This map felt a bit more brawly between the two squads, but similar to Nuke, there was NIP getting out to a decent lead early, and then also similar to Nuke, FaZe got into things and started taking apart that lead one by one. It was a strong run to end the first half. One win condition was there for NIP on this map. The stars showed up. Brolin was spectacular, 28 kills and 98 ADR. Hampus just refused to let this one go. He would end the map with 30 frags of his own, including this absolutely magnificent pistol round. That is some stellar shooting from Hampus. Some good clutches from FaZe, allowed to stay in it, but just barely kept their head above water. They'd never get within 2 rounds of NIP for the remainder. 6-1 run for the Ninjas in pajamas, and we actually get to go all 3. Inferno, deciding map, major playoffs. I love it. Let's hear from the casters.
Oh. Rogi, quick movements, just trying to dodge, dive back into the fight. Rogi's got it!
You heard about him, and now you see him!
Story of this map is that NIP had all the chances they needed in the first half to overcome FaZe. They got gifted a second round when FaZe chased for kills too early in the bomb timer. They had an advantage in a 3v2 eco but couldn't kill Brokey, as we just saw, and they massively dropped the ball in a standard 5v2 late in the half. That is just backbreaking in a major quarterfinal. And when you give up that many to a team like FaZe, they will make you pay. Off the back of Rops' 27 kills and 100 ADR performance here in map 3, FaZe dismantled the Ninjas in every single way. 13 straight rounds, 9 rounds straight on the CT side alone. FaZe are able to sidestep the danger in this game. Brokey also logged a monster map, as you could see there. 20 kills, but there's no way to quantify the total impact he had on the defensive side. Rain had this to say after the match. You'll recall he had to sit and watch his team lift the Katowice trophy from the hotel room while JKS played in his place. Obviously not happy about some of the community chatter that caused. Hamp has certainly got to be in the conversation for one of the better fragging in-game leaders we have at the moment. He's calling the strats and putting up numbers, just not enough for NIP today. At this point, that kind of a showing from Rops is to be expected, but look at the supporting cast. Twist and Brokey, mentioned this was a deep team. They both shine bright in their own way. Twist with some timely clutches, and Brokey's off was a dominant factor in the series today. Coming into this series, this first quarterfinal, there was an undertone of an upset potential from NIP taking out FaZe, but it's just not to be. FaZe handled business. NIP gets sent packing back to the airport for them. FaZe going to be in that semifinal coming up on Saturday. We got one more quarterfinal. One more is left for the day. Spirit taking on FURIA. Some emotional runs for other teams overshadowed Spirit's dominant stroll into the playoffs. They started in the challenger stage and only dropped 2 maps along the way. They'd be up on stage and they'd be dealing with some rowdy FURIA fans in the audience.
But how can you prepare for this, Dexter?
I think this guy is great. They are incredible and amazing fans. But anyways, I would like to say for everyone who is supporting Team Spirit and he is not here, you can write it in the Twitch chat. Let's go, Spirit!
Dexter didn't really answer the question, so I'll try and help him out a little bit. He's been wild throughout the first 2 stages of Antwerp, one of the top performers in both stages. He's also got his buddy Patsy warming up into the event, who has started to look extremely deadly. There's win conditions 1 and 2. Now also look how well this team is doing at a sea of squads far more experienced than them. Look at round win percent, 5-on-4 conversion percentage, and deaths traded percent. I'd like to submit those to the court as win conditions 3, 4, and 5. Still, they've gotten a tough and aggressive FURIA team on the other side of the map. The Legends out of the Americas regions, they get to start right in the Legend stage as well. That huge upset win over G2 bodes well. Remember, Spirit was #1 in 5v4 conversion, so FURIA's opening game better be strong. One worrying sign, Yuri has the most opening fight success by a wide margin on the team, but also takes the least amount of them. FURIA's chaotic and fast-paced style is going to be put to the test today. And these are the 2 guys who better rise up to meet that challenge, Yuri and KSerato. We just touched on Yuri, and as we all know, KSerato has been the center point, the focal point of this FURIA team for years during their rise up the ranks. Art had one final comment before we got started.
What's the plan for revenge today?
It's gonna be easy. They got lucky.
Are you sure about...
Frankie gave him a chance to back out, but Homeboy's gonna ride or die with they got lucky. First map, Vertigo, and it could be described in a lot of ways, but easy isn't one of them. Spirit was harassing the FURIA defense in the first half. A lot of the game plan focused on early engagements in the middle of the map, some rounds winning that heads up, some rounds showing off why they're the #1 team in trading kills. Either way, action here thinned out defenses elsewhere on the map, and they found those gaps all over the place. Siren stepped up big for Spirit, putting in a day's work with 28 kills and 109 ADR. Despite all that, FURIA managed to stay in it late. They take a 1-round lead at 12-11, but that's all they get. Spirit hit a hot streak at the end of the first map and take us to Ancient with a 16-11 win. Now, this is beautiful. Look at this mid-round push towards the top of the ramp. They slaughter everyone. This was the backbreaker. FURIA would never really get a chance back into the game. And look at the boys celebrate. They are hyped up. There is no sign that this is their first stage match. Ancient actually started off well for FURIA. Defense had some dominant holds. They forced Spirit into 4 saves out of 6 FURIA wins in the early points of this map. Some real sketchy rounds early for Spirit aligned with some multi-kill rounds from FURIA. That allowed the Brazilians to just barely keep themselves relevant in the first half. They get 7 rounds on their CT side, which made for a foreboding halftime. Nobody feeling comfortable losing CT side Ancient right now, and Spirit would show you why. Lockdown defense engaged once the semifinal got in sight. 8-1 run for the second half. Spirit have no problem closing it out. 201 days ago, the Spirit organization put out a tweet announcing roster changes due to unsatisfying results. Now they're in the major semifinals. You got to give props to everyone in that organization from top to bottom. And look at Magic's here. He's just going to cut it all down. He's just going to close out the map. 2-0 for Spirit. Siren would come out of nowhere in this one. 45 kills for him, most of all 10 players in the server. 92 ADR, again the most of everyone in the server. I can't stress enough how little experience this team has on the stage. Here's Chopper, the most experienced player on the team by far. He's been involved in 3 majors and never got past the group stage. Shout out one last time to Vega Squadron. First day of the playoffs, first day inside the arena. One game was a 3-map brawl, and the other one was just an entire example of the prowess of team spirit. That was a statement win over FURIA, telling the world they can play on the big stage. We progressed through the brackets, just 3 days remaining of the Antwerp Major. Here's the bracket: NIP and FURIA out, FaZe and Spirit to meet in the semifinals on Saturday. Shift your gaze to the bottom half of the bracket for tomorrow's schedule. ENCE taking on Copenhagen Flames is the matinee. Both lineups on the biggest stage for the first time. Navi and Heroic for the evening show. The best player ever and the reigning major champs take on a young but experienced Heroic team that are still trying to fight off and chase off demons that they have not been able to get over in the big tournaments. Now, a word from our sponsor, GG.BET. You can use code HLTV for first bet insurance and an extra percentage on deposits, depending on how close we are to the major final, and we're pretty darn close right now. More information is available in the YouTube description. Please gamble responsibly. Thanks so much for tuning in. That's our show tonight for the first set of quarterfinals. We've got another set of quarterfinals tomorrow, as we just showed you, and the semifinals, and we all can't wait for those grand finals. We're going to be here all weekend long. We'll see you there.
Esports is what we live and breathe. For us, it's more than a game. It's a reality, where a group of letters can mean everything. Where Mirage is a place for bombs, battles, and glory, not an illusion. Where the true heroes are those in front of the screen. GG.BET. This is real.